Hey, Billy Epphart here, and thanks for watching another vlog we have. And we're going to continue to talk for a minute about real estate. We get a lot of real estate questions in our office here. And so the question I'm holding here, it says, what are the first steps for buying property for an Airbnb? So here's the question: what are the first steps for buying property for an Airbnb? And of course, as most of us know, the Airbnb is kind of a new concept. Before Airbnb was what was called VRBO, Vacation Rentals by Owner, and then HomeAway. I think it's still HomeAway.com. And so, but Airbnb came in, and of course, it really changed the landscape of owning real estate. Number one, you are able to get a higher return most of the time when you can actually rent your property to Airbnb than you would, for example, doing it on a monthly rental where someone signed a 1 year lease and you got paid by the month. But one of the things you got to know about Airbnb, number one, so if you want to know what are the steps, the first step is you need to make sure that the zoning allows or that zoning is whatever city or county that you're in, whatever municipality you're in, allows for the particular property you're considering or already own, whether or not they actually allow Airbnb to be used. Then the second one you have to know is what's called HOAs. Those are homeowners, of course, associations. And those HOAs will also either say yes or no regarding Airbnb. So when you say, what are the first steps? The very first step is to actually look at the zoning and or the HOA rules and guidelines, and then make sure every now and then we run into communities, meaning not just the municipality that's over it, but we actually run into communities, cities or whatever, that completely outlaw Airbnb altogether. Now, I'm not talking about like the city of Denver, that may happen in the future, or the city of New York, but areas that are kind of called by a city name. Sometimes the city council or somebody else will say no Airbnb. So you just have to make sure that your municipality and the HOAs that you're in actually will allow an Airbnb. And with number one, looking at that, then you need to make sure that when you're looking at buying a property or already have a property, that it's not already on the table in discussion somewhere. Because sometimes the rules will say you can do it. You go look online and you look it up and the rules say no problem. For example, renting or leasing or whatever, no problem. But there could be discussions in the municipality around not doing it. So that's something you need to really be aware of. Make sure that you know that. Then the second thing that you want to look at when you're talking about what are the first steps for buying property for an Airbnb, you have to really be able to project what kind of income. This is number two. You have to project what kind of income you would actually get from that property. So you would look, for example, at what can I charge per night, and then how many nights am I going to be able to rent, for example. In some areas, man, you can rent a ton of nights. In some areas, the seasons will change and you'll have a high season, you'll have a low season. So you need to know, you need to understand your highs, your lows, your high season, your low season, and then from that, calculate how many nights of rent you can have and then how much you can get in your gross rent. Now, you have to remember that the gross rent's important, and on an Airbnb, you still want to be between 1 to 1.5% in monthly income. So you say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you bought an Airbnb house and you paid $300,000 for it, right? For an apartment or a condo or a townhouse, or if you're in California, you paid $750,000 for it. Or if you're in Alabama, you may have paid $100 or $150. Whatever you paid, then you look to see, can I get at least a 1% return on that purchase price, that investment for the month. So for example, if you're in Alabama and you paid $150, then can I rent enough Airbnb nights to get $1,500 per month? If you're in California, can I rent enough Airbnb nights to get $7,500 if you paid $750,000? You're wanting to get a 1% return monthly on the purchase price, or for some of you that may have been doing real estate a little more, really for your full investment, for your total investment. You want to try to get a 1% return on that annually. So this is number two. You need to figure out what your return is going to be. Then number 3, you need to realize, okay, am I going to manage it or is somebody else going to manage it? If you're going to manage it, then you're able to use the return I just gave you realistically at the 1%. If you're going to have someone else manage it, Airbnb management costs a little more because you've got to change linens, you got to change towels, you got to clean. There's a lot of things you've got to do, and because it's Airbnb, you're turning it over every couple of nights. Every now and then, you'll get a weekly renter, so you're turning over at least every week. Occasionally, you may get a monthly renter for a month, so that would be an awesome thing. You don't have to clean as much, but you need to know, number 3, what your management cost is going to be. Now, with the new websites out there and with Airbnb itself, and then some of the other websites like vrbo.com that actually support something like an Airbnb, then you're able to advertise relatively cheaply. So number 4, advertising would be, of course, through Airbnb. List your property in Airbnb, and then you also would list your property somewhere like vrbo.com or homeaway.com or something like that. You can Google those sites. So these are, I've just listed here for you, really 4 things to do, but those top 3 steps, make sure you follow that and understand what they are. So hey, this is Billy Ephardt. Thanks for watching the vlog. I'll see you right back here. Bye-bye.